All right. Should be live for the first time in quite a bit. Hello, hello. Yeah, get our music going. 1 second. There we go. There's that. Hello, hello. Welcome in. By the way, we do have a tornado warning out over here just to the west of Chicagoland. They had a little bit of rotation earlier. That rotation has since dissipated, and I'm thinking they're going to be allowing this to expire here in any moment. I tried to get my stream ready. Oh, wait, no, it said it expired 6 minutes ago. Never mind. Huh. Expires 6 minutes ago. Then why is it still on the screen? Let me press refresh. Oh, okay. Never mind. That has already been allowed to expire, but there are 70-mile-per-hour winds coming in to Chicago, Highland Park, Palatine, Schwamberg, and Aurora. Just to let you guys know. Look at this. There's been so many updates on weather-wise. It's crazy. You can now have the satellite behind the radar. Let me see if it actually animates with it as well. I think it's going to take longer for it to load. Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. Why is my name Freiburger? Don't know. Let me ask my mom and dad, my ancestors. Hopefully it has something to do with food. What an unfortunate last name. I think it is. Oh my gosh. I think it is the best last name that has ever existed, in my opinion. I mean, how do you get better than Fry and Burger with the last name? But dude, look at this. So here's the main reason why we're live. Look how big, for one, a major hurricane Erin is right now. It is crazy. It looks like max wind speeds are around 140 still. So still hanging on to that category 4 status. But check this thing out. This is crazy. Let me, we'll go to like 15 frames. That is a large storm. That is a large storm. For reference, this is what it looks like when you zoom out on the globe. Like, you can still see it. Like, if you were in space floating around this this planet in a satellite, you'd be looking down at this storm and you'd be like, wow, that still looking pretty large. And this is one of the reasons, believe it or not, that we just had a tropical storm watch issued out over here. So we just had our first tropical storm watch issued for the United States area. It's gonna be over there near Emerald Isle, Beaufort, Orcachoke, Avon, Nags Head, Kitty Hawk as well. And it looks like even close to Virginia Beach, or encompassing Virginia Beach. I think this is just off of the coast there. And it only really spreads into the United States over here near Kitty Hawk, Nags Head, Montillo, and then also kind of comes into like these little outer island areas here of North Carolina. But there you go, an official update for the United States, like kind of like the first one we've had, other than that evacuation order that was issued back over here as well near Kitty Hawk, Nags Head, and Wanchese. Wanchese, is that right? And thank you, Amber, for being a member for 10 months. Thank you so much. What day is Erin meant to hit y'all? Erin is not hitting the United States. Let me turn this off, by the way. There we go. Perfect. But yeah, let's come over and look at this storm in the clear infrared wavelength. Yeah, look at that thing. That is quite the storm. Quite the storm we have ongoing here. Erin continues to surprise. I will say the track is on track. If we put this in motion, you can see that the center of pressure appears to be hanging around where our forecast track is. So Erin is finally starting to listen to the ensembles. Or you could say probably the other way around. The ensembles are starting to listen to Erin. Erin's been a little bit of a disruptor, a little bit. There was a meme made about it not too long ago that Erin is ungovernable. Erin is huge. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Erin's huge. It's humongous. If you take like a circle and kind of draw it around Erin, and then kind of do the same size circle like over here. I mean, that's like Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and Kentucky combined. That is about how big Hurricane Erin is right now. And it's a category 4. It's going to hit the Georgia coast. It's not going to hit anybody directly, but as we are about to go over in a little bit, there is some potential for some tropical storm impacts on the very outer edges of this. And thank you, Pathmedic Jan, for the $2. Thank you so much. It's massive. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what's crazy? Hold on, let me come over here to the National Hurricane Center official page. Get that up here really quick. See if this works. There we go. But yeah, here's the National Hurricane Center official page. And if we click on Erin here and then go over to how big its wind field is currently by going to here, then kind of zooming in, you can see that it is growing. If you come over here to wind history, you can really get an understanding of just how much it's grown. You can see it was a little teeny tiny wind field back over here when it was at 25 west. And then as it made its way over to 55 west and 60 west, it started to expand. And then as it's been over into this area near the Bahamas, you can see that tropical storm force winds field has expanded by quite a lot. And the crazy thing is about this storm is that it's not done. It's not done. That tropical force wind field will continue to expand. This is what it looks like on high definition satellite imagery. 100-foot storm surge is expected with this hurricane. No, that is... Dude, where are you getting your information from? That is incorrect. Very incorrect. My goodness. That is the most incorrect thing I think anybody's said about this storm yet. You know how devastating a 100-foot storm surge would be? Let me just tell you. If you had a building that was 100 feet tall, sitting at exactly sea level, the entire building would be underwater. You saw it online. Well, don't believe everything you see online. As of right now, most of our models are saying that we have up to 49-foot waves expected. Let's go check to see if we have any aircraft recon around this storm. It looks like we do have some aircraft recon happening around the outer edges of Erin. Measuring the wind shear out and around the storm, so that will be helpful for our models. They do need to do that every now and then. Nothing really to note there. Let's come now over to our forecast models and see what has changed since you guys last saw me. We last talked, or last saw each other. If you guys did watch the video earlier today, we last talked about the storm this morning, and things will have changed since then. It's been a whole 6-7 hours. And things have been changing pretty quickly with this storm. Max said 100-foot waves in sea. No, none of our models are saying that right now. So I don't know. I think what they are talking about is the chances for like maybe a rogue wave, which can happen, but it won't be like a big area where there's going to be 100-foot waves. Like you could maybe get, theoretically speaking, a 100-foot rogue wave, which is a much different dynamics than like, you know, like the equivalent to like 100-foot storm surge near the center of the storm. And even if that were to happen, that wouldn't happen near shore. It would happen near the center of Erin. So that wouldn't impact the United States at all. So therefore, it was not even technically storm surge until it hits land. But there will be technically a quote unquote storm tsunami with this storm, which is why they have, issued evacuations out over here near like Kitty Hawk, Nag's Head, over there near Mantillo and Wanches. Hey, thank you, Kitten Lover, for becoming a member for 3 months. I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Weatherman Plus scared you? Yeah, well, that's his whole MO. Yeah, that's what he does best. And thank you, Kitten Lover, for sending 10 memberships. Thank you so much. If you guys get a membership from Kitten Lover, make sure that you are thanking her in the chat. That is a huge donation. And she just gave all of y'all memberships for free. So you better be thanking her. Yeah, but that's what Weatherman Plus does. He takes this, he'll do like a little Photoshop, he'll isolate this, and then he'll bring it like right over to like right next to like North Carolina, and then he'll like put it like where it's supposed to be, and then he'll still have arrows pointing. It's like, even though like if you look, you will not find. Here, we'll do this. You will not find somebody with a thumbnail right now that looks accurate to the actual cone of uncertainty like we have on this thumbnail. you will see the red going all the way into the East Coast and then like up the East Coast. You know, it's stupid. It's stupid. They don't really know how to communicate, and they're not really that smart. They're just there to get you that money, get that cheddar. But we don't care about none of that. Nothing has changed. Well, let's go over the latest models. We'll see it. I mean, honestly, I haven't looked at the models in a couple of hours. So we're kind of just going through this information in real time. So let's go ahead and get this big on the screen. I think this is the best way to do it. Let me see what happens if I come over to here and then do this. Oh yeah, this will be better actually. Just like it's the video scene. Does this look familiar to anybody? This is the scene we look for, or we use in the videos. All right, so here is the GFS. Let's change the region so we can get a little bit closer to like the North Carolina, South Carolina area. So this is the latest GFS run. And as I push this forward, it doesn't get. All right, well, the latest GFS run is loading, so we might want to wait. Let me check the Euro. Yeah, okay, so the 12Z Euro, which a lot of you guys have probably already seen, is saying that this storm is going to majorly strengthen into a Category 5 hurricane just off the coast of North Carolina. I don't know what's wrong with the Euro because we don't see any evidence of this being possible. So that would be crazy, but I don't think this is a likely scenario. Most models are saying that this is going to be a lot weaker storm, even than what it is right now by the time it gets close to the North Carolina coast. So I think for now, we can treat this as an outlier and throw the Euro into the trash, as no other models are saying this right now. Let's come over to... that means that's going to be not helpful. What about the icon? Yeah, the icon's saying something similar there, but you can see it has a pressure of 915 all the way to like up near the Bahamas, and then further up to the north there, which is already too low of a pressure. So that is pretty inaccurate there. We do have a hurricane model, so since we do have a tropical storm watch, this will be somewhat helpful here. Our latest hurricane models are indicating that we could get some tropical storm force winds up near the Cape Hatteras over here in North Carolina. Again, the tropical storm watch that has been issued over here for the coast of parts of, you know, near Emerald Isle, Beaufort, over there near Ocracoke, Wanchest, Nags Head, Kitty Hawk, Southern Shores, and over there near Virginia Beach. So those are the folks that are right now in that tropical storm watch. We don't have any hurricane watches for the United States. We're not really expecting any of those unless the wind field just gets absolutely crazy big. But I just don't think. I think, you know, typically when we get these wind fields expand, especially with the storm like this that's weakening as it is expanding its wind field, typically we see those tropical storm force winds go well out from the center, but the hurricane force winds still stay relatively close to the center, although they expand a little bit, but in this case, not enough to reach the actual coast here of North Carolina. NAM 3K throwing. Oh my goodness. Yeah, NAM 3K model. Yeah, about that. Never use that. Love the new cam. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wancheesy? Is that how you say it? It rained in Jamaica. All right. Well, thank you for letting me know. What are those red boxes? Those are hurricane warnings for the sea. So like if you are a ship, you need to be, be paying attention. Or if you're like SpongeBob, or if you're just a fish, if you're a blue whale that is out here, please do us a favor and avoid the hurricane. A little bit of a clearing happening here, actually. Look at this. A little bit of a clearing there. A little bit of an eye trying to reestablish itself. Is there is still a chance it can hit the mainland? No, there hasn't been a chance that it hits the mainland for a very long time. For like the last 3 or 4 days. We have no models indicating that that is a possibility. Absolutely zero. So whoever's been saying that is just an idiot. All right, let's see here. Let's come back over to here. And this is not going to be like an Irma thing. See, look, our hurricane models, I think, are handling this pretty well. So this is our HWRF model. It kind of brings it to where we still have some pretty close approach there of some tropical winds. Let's come over to our HFAS-A model and see what it says. That's a little bit too close. We'll back out here just a little bit. Yeah, the HFAS-A model is now saying that some tropical force, storm force winds will be impacting parts of the North Carolina here, right on that eastern coast, there near the Cape Hatteras, Kitty Hawk. Yeah, it looks like it's going to start early, like either late night on Thursday or on Friday and early morning on Thursday, and then last potentially throughout the day before going away at around 6 or 7 p.m. On Thursday. But yeah, you can see that wind field really expands around the storm as it moves up to the north. So you can see just kind of in relation, or so this is where it's kind of at right now. You can see its wind field is starting to expand. And then when you push it out, you can see that the wind field is expected to expand like ×2 by the time we get to kind of Wednesday afternoon. It is a possibility. It is not a possibility that this makes direct landfall. Guys, come on. Please. Will a hurricane hit Florida in 10 days? No idea, Audrey. No idea. We don't know. The models don't work that way. Keep in mind that these models had the ensemble models had a spread from Cuba all the way up to Maine 10 days ago. Remember that? So again, that wasn't a equal chance that it was going to hit Florida or Maine. That's just the model saying we're way too far out and we don't have a solution that is workable or even communicable. Ask your magic 8-ball. What about the one in Gulf down by Mexico? There is no storms in Mexico. We don't have, or near the Gulf of Mexico. Don't have anything. Oh wait, let me go back out to here. Man, a lot of misinformation floating around there, huh? Well, I'm glad I went live. Yeah, as you can see, there's no 2-day or 7-day graphical for the Gulf of Mexico. We have the only other thing that we have out there. Let me come back over to here. The only other thing that we have out there is this 60% chance. So they did upgrade this 60% chance of this storm forming over here near Puerto Rico. Also, the Lesser Antilles and the Greater Antilles are going to be in that 60% chance of formation there of a tropical depression or storm over the next 7 days. And we actually have now a 10% chance over the next 48 hours. You wonder storms don't have Wi-Fi, so you're assuming a 5% chance. No, there is a 0% chance that Erin hits land. Like if we look at every single model and compile a chance, the chance equals a whopping 0%. There is not a single model or ensemble run that says that Erin is going to hit the United States. We are about as certain as we can be. It's not going to be like an Irma situation where we have a tropical storm developing nearby that is changing the wind currents around it, that is going to be, you know, or a typhoon over in the Pacific that is, you know, ejecting into higher latitudes, completely putting kinks in the jet stream that were unforecasted. We don't have anything like that happen. Our weather pattern right now in the Atlantic is pretty darn predictable. The only thing that's been unpredictable is the intensity of Erin and how it's been interacting with stuff. But now Erin is going to be slowly weakening over time, and the intensity is going to be a lot more consistent with what the ensembles are saying. Oh, yay. I love it when my chat crashes. Fun. I got it back up there, don't worry. I can see you guys again. We will have big waves and potentially tropical storm force winds. If we come back over to our graphic over here, you can see where our tropical storm watch is possible, or tropical storm watch is right now. And we actually have some tropical storm storm surge. Let's see, that's a storm surge watch as well over here near the Palm Lico Sound, out over here just to the east of Marshallburg, east of Stacy, back over here near, I can't read that underneath there, but yeah, you can see we do have also a storm surge watch as well. And we also have some storm surge graphics out now over here near Cape Lookout and Duck. Expecting 2 to 4 feet of storm surge. That's going to be on the kind of western side of the storm. It is going to have winds wrapping around that side. So along with those waves, there could be a little bit of storm surge. As you can see, it's not 100 feet storm surge like that other guy in chat said. It's 2 to 4 feet of storm surge. For some of you guys, I swear, it feels like I'm babysitting kindergartners. I'm telling you. Do we have kindergartners in chat? Somebody online said 100 feet tsunami is coming through the East Coast. Is that true, teacher? I don't understand it. Where are you guys getting this information from? Over here near Paramore Island, 1 to 3 feet down to Duck. Cape Lookout, south to South Santee River, 1 to 3 feet there. So definitely could have some impacts near the beach, and especially where we're expecting some of these higher waves, potentially 15 to 20 feet waves are still expected to come into the area. We could see some roads become impassable out here. So again, we've already had evacuation orders issued for parts of these regions out here. And if you have been given those evacuation orders, I can tell you right now, as someone that doesn't fearmonger, it's probably good that you get out of there just in case, you know, something bad does happen, which is certainly possible, given the fact that we do have tropical storm watches and storm surge watches out there already. You were outside for the storm earlier. Oh, which storm? You see what happens when you leave us on our own for a week? Yeah, I do. Can I check Yorkville, Illinois? Yeah, let's go back up there and check in on those storms. So back up here, we are still talking about the potential here for some 70 mile, or actually they did downgrade this into 60 mile per hour winds. We also have another area here with 60 mile per hour wind potential heading into Batavia and Aurora, Palestine, Schwamberg, Carroll Stream. Yorkville isn't quite impacted. It seems like the storm that's coming into your area, or the part of the storm, is pretty outflow dominant. You can see we got some cold air surging. There's your line, your outflow line. And as of right now, your part of the storm is not severe warned, but I wouldn't completely rule out a 60 mile per hour wind warning on that. The NAM model, we're not checking the NAM model. I'm not checking the NAM model. I don't give a NAM about that model. Local news did a YouTube, or let's come back over to here. Local news did a YouTube and was really extreme sounding. 100 foot storm surge sounded pretty kooky. They said it could be 2 feet. What? That is confusing. I mean, there's somebody out there claiming that a 100-foot storm surge is coming for North Carolina or Virginia. Those people are severely uneducated in the subject of meteorology. They don't know about the National Hurricane Center, which is bad. Shouldn't be listening to somebody that doesn't even know what the National Hurricane Center is if they're talking about hurricanes. Again, a 100-foot storm surge. I don't think you guys realize how ridiculous that is. That's how you guys need to. I know a lot of you guys in chat are really smart, really smart. So I don't need to tell you guys this, but for some of the people that think that there are a 100-foot storm surge, just think about this. You are 6 feet at max. Maybe if you're lucky, you're 7 foot. All right. Your house is like 20 feet tall if it's a 2-story house, or if it has a nice big roof. A building is on average 50 to 100 feet. A 10-story building is like 100 feet. So you're telling me you believe that a hurricane that's not even making landfall is going to bring 100-foot waves that would crash well over your house, when we've never seen that happen before. That's like, when you hear something, you got to think of it a little bit logically for just a tiny bit, and then you start to question it. Now, could there be a 100-foot wave underneath the center of circulation? Yes, again, there are such things called rogue waves. Let's come over to here. Let's look at even though the Euro model's a little bit off right now, we'll go look at. Let me see if the GFS is in enough. Here, let me refresh. How do I get this back to where it was? Regions. Hopefully the GFS is in enough. Yeah, it is. Okay, so this is the absolute. Let me go back over to here too. This is the absolute latest run here of the GFS model. So this just came out. So this is brand new information here. If we come over to our lower dynamics and then go to significant wave height, you can see that this is in feet, okay? Not in meters, this is in feet. And we do have some indications here that we could get anywhere from 15 to 20-foot waves in and along the coast of Cape Hatteras, with some maxed out readings over here of 48 feet. And could you make an argument that within that 48 feet zone near the center, again, that's well far away from land, could you make some arguments that, you know, you could get a rogue wave of 100 foot out there? Sure, you can make that argument. But you know, is that going to impact the United States? No, it's not. So we're all in the same understanding. Got a quick question about Reedsville, Georgia. We haven't been in a severe weather outlook for a while. Will that change shortly? I don't know. I don't think so. The South is typically pretty quiet. I mean, we could probably still get some severe weather. Let me just check to see what is happening. All right. Wait, why? That's how you do it. We'll come over to here. Yeah, I know we have some thunderstorms possible in the southeast. You know, near Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky going into tomorrow, but we don't have any. I keep forgetting that I'm not on this scene. Sorry. I keep switching to this scene. Yeah, we don't have any severe weather chances for tomorrow or day 3 down here in the southeast or in Georgia. So, I mean, can you completely rule out a severe thunderstorm? No. Even in a general thunderstorm risk, you can every now and then get a storm that is severe, but you know, it looks like it's going to be pretty tame. Let's go over to weather-wise. I mean, not weather-wise, radar Omega. I want to look at this storm. I want to look at this storm in 3D. Come over here to mesoscale. There. Lower level. Clean. There we go. Let me turn it on 3D. Look at that. 3D Erin. Right now, you are under no risk. It's been blue skies all day. Yeah, it's been same here. Been same here. I will say I was playing golf the other day and I had thunderstorms all around me while playing golf. I was in heaven. It'll cool down a lot soon. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It sure will. I will show you guys this glorious graphic. Raise your hand if you want to see the probably one of the most welcomed graphics to have ever existed in the history of mankind. Bam! Look at that. Look at that big old blue blob. You know what that means? That means it's going to be cooler than average for basically everybody in the United States, unless you're the unlucky few that lives in Florida, in Houston, Texas, over here in the New Mexico, Arizona, up here in the Pacific Northwest. But everybody else is going to be cooler than average over the next 6 to 10 days. It's not going to be right now, but it's going to be in 6 to 10 days. So get ready for that cool down. Yeah, Florida's cooked, literally. No hope for Florida. False fall. I don't know. When you go to the 8 to 14 day outlook, doesn't really change that much. If it'll actually load. Otherwise, is being weird. Is it doing that thing where it's just not going to load anything? Why isn't it loading? Weather-wise, has it weather-wise been loading slow for you guys? It's been starting to load slow for me. Okay, it's not loading anything, not even the radar, I don't think. Yeah, okay, so weather-wise is crashing. I'm just hoping it's not going to crash my OBS. Why weather-wise? Why? Okay. Yeah, it's just not wanting to participate. Let me come over here and turn this back to my gray presentation where I usually have it. And then let's go ahead and get that some of these stuff overlaid here. Weather alerts on there, and then we'll bring up the tropical weather alerts as well. Bam. What up? What up? Hello. They don't work for you at all. Really? Yeah, it's been a little weird. I think that new update put way too much on that app and might be messing with it a little bit. But the buoys layers on Radar Omega. Why are we actually getting anything interesting on them? I know they have some buoy cams out there. Let me see. Buoys. And there's no buoys near the storm. There's a buoy like out over here. And it is measuring wind speeds of up to 20 miles per hour and gusts of up to 26 or 29 miles per hour over there. Will Erin have any effect on the storm coming behind it? Well, kind of. Here, we'll talk about the next storm in line here. Man, I really need a button to come over here. All right. So the next storm after Erin is gonna be that 60% chance we were talking about. We'll look at the ensembles. Actually, let me look at the entire Atlantic. So our steering pattern will be pretty interesting. So here's Erin down there, and that's going to come up to the north, and that's going to help. After that goes away, you know, we're going to have not as many shortwave troughs kind of entering out over into the North Atlantic. And so that'll give an opportunity for our high pressure system back over here to kind of rebuild back. And then eventually we could get a little, you know, a little bit of a tropical system. The EPS hasn't really been bullish on it, but we'll check the latest model runs on that. But essentially, by the time this thing gets close to the United States, it's looking like we are getting agreement that there might be a trough out there and that high pressure system, which would definitely help scoot this thing up to the north and the northwest, kind of like what Erin did. So it might even be a weaker storm than Erin if that happens. Yeah, so nothing really that's, you know, sticking out to me as like, oh my gosh, this is gonna be bad, you know. Our ensemble members looks like going out to about 5 days from now brings this near Puerto Rico, at least by the Euro ensemble is looking like, you know, maybe a tropical depression or storm. Couple model members in there indicating that we might have hurricane strength there. And then as I push this forward, you can see that we get, you know, maybe some members there in the Gulf of Mexico, maybe some. Again, we're back to the could get land impacts all the way from Maine down into Florida again. So it's a big model ensemble spread, but a little bit of a different kind of scenario here where we have a high pressure building. We do have a weakness on the western side of that high pressure. And then we also have a low pressure system that's right around when that, you know, these little or this, you know, system is trying to develop, which would be Ferdinand, I believe. We're going to have a trough kind of digging down, and that would help kind of steer it up to the north along with that high pressure system, according to our latest ensembles. Now, again, that could change, you know, bringing the ensembles all the way out to here, that's 180 hours. So we still got a lot of time for all this to change. If this high pressure system is a little bit weaker, if this trough ejects a little bit quicker, and then we get a high pressure system behind that, or this high pressure system is allowed to kind of scoot off a little bit to the west, you know, we could see this track change more towards the United States. So, you know, definitely not time to call this a fish storm or really anything right now, because we just don't have much agreement on its formation just yet. Our latest GEFS model run is being initialized right now, but so far it doesn't even form it yet until it gets pretty close to the Antilles. So still have to wait for this new model run to come in to kind of get some more data. But you know, the last set of ensemble members that have come in, model runs that have come in, have been indicating that this storm is, you know, gonna stay pretty weak initially. And if we can kind of come look at it here on radar or on satellite, we'll do that right now. If weather-wise decides to work. What if I take this off of expert mode? That would be, maybe that'll help. There we go. Okay, finally. Yeah, maybe it's the expert mode. So yeah, this is our system in question. Where'd our tropical warnings go? His weather-wise is struggling right now. There they are. But yeah, you can see we have this kind of deep area of monsoonal moisture, and you know, within this area, we have a couple areas of vorticity or spin inside of it. So it's not a very organized system, and it's a very broad area. So it's going to take a while for this to actually organize into something, but we are pretty confident that something could form, whether it be a tropical depression or storm, as it nears the Lesser Antilles and Puerto Rico. And again, our latest information on that is 7 days from now, 60% chance. And then, 2 days from now, it's a 10% chance. So got to give this storm some time, try to organize and get that lower level center, more organized as it moves on to the west. I mean, it's going to have plenty of warm water from where it is right now until where it's going. So you have a stupid question? Hey, go ahead and ask. No question is stupid unless it's stupid. Some questions are stupid. Do I like air fried food? I've never had air fried food before, actually. Well, it's gonna be stupid. Well, just ask away. As long as it's not too crazy stupid. If it's just a general question, that's fine. If you're gonna come in here and ask me whether or not 100-foot waves are gonna come into the East Coast, what is that little purple thing? Little purple thing. Where at? I don't see it. Purple thing. Oh, by your name? That just means that you're on a leaderboard. It's some stupid thing that YouTube did to like make you feel better than everybody else in chat because you chat a lot or if you donated. It's basically just giving people in chat a superiority complex. Is there a realistic chance Erin will cause some tornadoes in South Carolina? Not really. Typically on the western side of these storms, we don't typically see tornadoes. Usually it's on the northeastern quadrant, so it should be pretty tornado free. Top Yapper Award. Yes, it is. You know what? Now that I think of it, I haven't had air fried food either. Yeah. I mean, you got to have like a whole system for that. So yeah, I mean, guys, I've been seeing so many posts. Raise your hand in chat if you have seen those posts online where someone shares a deterministic model of like a massive hurricane hitting Florida based off of this storm back over here. Raise your hand if you've seen that. I've seen like 10 posts like that. I've blocked so many people on Twitter. It's crazy. A lot. Yeah. You see, weather misinformation gets more traction than the real stuff nowadays, guys. It's getting real bad. I can't tell you how long it took for these freaking clickbaiters to stop expanding the red blob into South and North Carolina. They kept that all the way up to yesterday. Some of them even still have it on their thumbnails today, acting like the track could still shift to the west, like there's some sort of model guidance to back that up. It's crazy, man. I'm starting to lose all faith in at least social media humanity. It's so stupid. Like they get hundreds of thousands of views doing that. And it's because people legitimately think that like, oh, when you have a hurricane and you extend the red blob erroneously into someone's state, they're clicking on your video not because they like you. They're clicking on your video because you are saying their life is in danger. So you're just causing panic for no reason. It's so stupid. Like this storm hasn't even formed yet. Doesn't even have a lower level center. You have a little orange blob and you already have people making thumbnails like, oh my gosh, New Orleans and Miami and Houston are all going to get hit by the same time by a massive hurricane tsunami. 100-foot waves are coming into North Carolina. It's so wrong. Yeah, it's so freaking wrong. But, it is what it is. That's the way that they've structured these algorithms, and the truth is dying by the minute. It's crazy. It'll be raining fish. Yeah. Yeah. Latest update on this storm. Still 140-mile-per-hour winds inside of this thing. It's hanging on to that intensity, surprisingly. Barely hanging on. Let's check the latest information from the National Hurricane Center. See if that's changed. Sometimes those apps are behind. Yeah. Pressure is still at 937 millibars with 140-mile-per-hour max sustained winds moving northwest at 10 miles per hour. Do some updates on the storm in Chicago. If weather-wise will let me, I will. It's been a little glitchy. There we go. Yeah, over here near Chicago, Park Ridge, we are still dealing with some storms here with some 60-mile-per-hour winds. This one down here near Oswego actually just was allowed to expire. And yeah, no new severe warning has been issued. So it looks like our only area where severe weather is still possible is over here near Northbrook, Evanston, and Berwyn. Still wouldn't completely rule out another southern extension, especially for like near Wheaton. Oh, look, we got a radar scan coming in. Wow. Radar is spinning. Look at it go. Nice. Not sure if that does anything, but other than just like an animation. And it changes the radar underneath it too. Have y'all been able to notice like the flashing on radar? A tornado over the ocean picking up sharks and whales. Now that would be a very powerful tornado. Some whales are very heavy. They like weigh tons of tons. Tons of tons. Radars do radar. Exactly. I have to do another push-up challenge? No. Never doing that again. Does that mean your weather got modified? Help. Are you wanting to get expelled? You've been getting, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but help has been progressively getting more and more sassy. I'm afraid the trajectory is not good. He's almost heading into my territory of sassiness. He's growing up. His code is evolving. True. Could a tornado break a power plant? I guess, yeah. I mean, sure. I think so. You know, the debris, you know, the most damaging part of a tornado, you know, is not the winds, it's what the wind is carrying. That's what really tears things up. So, you know, if you got a tornado that's got like a semi truck in it and slams into a power plant. I know a lot of the power plants though are usually pretty well put together, but you know, parts of it would break. And then if you get a truck slam into it from the tornado, I mean, you're going to see probably the whole thing get destroyed. I'm not sure though, if it was just a tornado alone, if it would. I'm not a structural engineer. Gas goes boom. Oh, you're talking about like a gas power plant? Yeah, probably. The boxes around the hurricane are just hurricane warnings for the people that use ships. Like there's a, let me see if I can find a map of it. It's actually pretty cool. Ship tracker. Wow, there's so many, you know, I never really realized just how many ships. But yeah, look at this. You can see there, right here is voyage planner. What is that? Okay. Is where Hurricane Erin is right now. And you can see all the ships are just like diverting around it. That's what that warning is for. It's just like, hey, if you're on a ship, don't go here. Pretty much what it means. Now, does anybody else have any questions about the tropical storm watch over here off Virginia Beach near Kitty Hawk near Beaufort, the storm surge warning, or any questions about Hurricane Erin? I actually got the stream set up for the tornado warning near Chicago, but it ended up, the rotation died so fast. What will the rain be like? Let me see. You talking about like rainfall amounts? I don't think we have any graphics on that yet. Yeah, rainfall potential does not go out to that far yet, but we could look at some models, I guess. We'll look at the GFS model. I don't think it's going to be that crazy. I don't think there's, we'll check it out though. A lot of the precipitation is going to be off the coast. Yeah, it's mostly off the coast. So yeah, not going to be, I mean, there's going to be some light rain, maybe a couple of storms that form, but most of that precipitation is going to be off the coast. So we're not talking about any major flooding potential there. You are from the Bahamas. Good night. Well, all right. Good night to you too. Yes, will Corolla be evacuated? Where is Corolla? Corolla. North Carolina? It's possible. I mean, it just depends on how close the approach is. You know, that's kind of in an area that's just kind of outside of where some of our models are saying that storm surge will pile up. I mean, if there could be, like, I think up here it is up to 1 to 3 feet of storm surge, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 1 to 3 feet of storm surge up there. I guess maybe is Duck part of Corolla, near Corolla? You can see 1 to 3 feet of storm surge from Paramore Island down towards Duck. Tornadic near Compton. Compton what? Forgot which hurricane, but you were on a cruise going through a hurricane once and then half of the ship got seasick. What? That's crazy. How'd that happen? That's scary. Yeah, you know, better safe than sorry is not a bad. I mean, there's beach hazard statement out here. The problem is, okay, so a lot of these areas, as you can see, they are connected by one road, right? For like most of this, most of these little islands are, you know, out over here. So they are connected by one road. If, for instance, something happens that was a little bit unexpected and that one road gets cut off, you're going to be stuck there for a little bit, especially if the road gets damaged to the point to where it needs to be repaired. So, you know, with the wave heights expected out there, I would consider, you know, just staying with your family. You know, you don't have to evacuate if you're not under evacuation order, but you know, we already do have evacuation orders for some, and yeah, I'd be better safe than sorry if I were you guys. "200-foot waves high." What? North Carolina is North Carolina even expected to get anything rain-wise other than the outer bands? It just depends. You know, we really don't have. Let me check our latest hurricane models on that. There might be some outer bands come in. Let me we'll go look at least what the HWRF is saying here on Radar Omega. According to the GFS, they stay mostly off the coast. Yeah, same with see there's an outer band kind of close to Kitty Hawk there. And you can see that this model run is in the center of the track here. If you know, it still could go a little bit more to the west. If it is, then maybe some rain bands could make it onto shore. So it's not a complete zero chance. It just depends on where that center tracks. But as you can see, it's going to be a freaking chonker of a hurricane. Tornadic approaching Paw Palm? No. Just mainly some damaging winds coming through. All these storms over here are outflow dominant at the moment. Oh, this guy. All right, I thought you were talking about up there. Yeah, there's actually an area of rotation. You're right. That's interesting. That might get warned. Let me just see what this looks like. How it has come to be. Yeah. I mean, there actually is a little bit of rotation there associated with reflectivity. So that could very well be an area of rotation to be paying attention to there in Paw Paw, Illinois. But the thing that's making me scratch my head about that is that it's well behind this outflow boundary. And it's very unlikely that it will be able to produce a tornado that far behind that outflow boundary. So it might be some sort of weird radar contamination. Let me check from this radar over here. Just see what this says about the storm. This shows it, but it does not show it as pronounced as that other radar. So this is probably more more like reality over there near Compton and Paw Paw. What's scarier, tornadoes or hurricanes? I would say hurricanes. Is that even a question? I mean, tornadoes are so small compared to hurricanes. Like, if I were to draw the size of a tornado next to this hurricane, it would probably be something like that. Can y'all even see that? Hurricanes, they can cause billions and billions of dollars worth of damage. I mean, if you're comparing like an EF5 to a category 1, probably an EF5 is more scary. But I mean, if you're comparing like the strongest tornado to the strongest hurricane, there's definitely way more devastation that happens with a hurricane than does with an EF5 tornado. And you got that storm surge, you got the winds, you got the power outages for days, for weeks, sometimes months. You know, a lot of times these hurricanes happen in an area that, you know, can get high humidity after that. So you get not only the power outages, but then the heat index soar. I mean, so many things can go wrong. Your water supply can go bad, and then you don't have any water, you don't have any power, it's freaking hot outside, and yeah, it's the most uncomfortable situation if you don't evacuate. That's why we tell people to evacuate. That's why they're telling people to evacuate over here near Kitty Hawk and Nag's Head, is because, you know, there is a chance that the waves could be so large out here that it can knock out some of this infrastructure, especially some of these roads out here. And if that does end up happening, we could get a situation where there's no way out or in. So you might be stranded there for a while. That's why they're telling you, hey, just get out. You know, we're not expecting any like super strong winds or super big storm surge, but the waves just in general on top of these smaller storm surge could be enough to ruin some of the infrastructure out there. So and stay there at your own risk. It's not really that you know, are most likely to die there because of the waves. It's more of the fact that a road and the infrastructure could get completely cut off, and then you have if you have like a medical emergency, no one will be able to get to you. So probably should evacuate. But it is the house they hit. That is true. Yeah, I don't know. I'm personally, my personal opinion, if there was an EF5 bearing down on my house, or if there was a category 5 bearing down on my house, I would be equally like, I don't think there's like, I think there's a limit to how scared you can get, and both of them would scare the crap out of me to like the maximum degree. So you have to make a whole nother scale of scaredness, or increase the scale of scaredness to a certain degree to where you know, it can actually maybe find some differences between there. But I mean, both situations I'd be like, well, I'm about to die, why am I still here? Like the eye is breaking down again. Yeah, it only lasted for like a millisecond. It did dry out there for a little bit. And see, it dried out there just briefly, and then it just, those cloud tops are cooling back down. Last year was insane. What about last year? In particular, are you talking about? Because I do agree, weather-wise, man, we were so busy during hurricane season. It has been so quiet this year, thankfully, in terms of like actual landfalling hurricanes. I mean, that's not really like there's probably still definitely an eye in there. It's just not like clearing out. Like if you had like a radar nearby, you'd probably still see an eye circulation in there. Kind of hard to tell on satellite whether or not there's like an eye replacement cycle or not going on. Yeah, Helene, Milton was crazy. We also had, I think it was, yeah, last year was the second most active tornado year ever in the United States. What happened to the 93K subs? Well, we haven't been live in a while. We haven't been posting massive clickbait on YouTube, so our videos haven't been popping off. So, you know, when on average I'd lose like 20 to 30 subs. So can't do anything about it. I ain't contributing to the nonsense though, so I will continue to get less views and lose subscribers until something actually happens. When something actually happens, you know, that's when the channel does well, as that's how it should be. If you're getting 100,000 views on a fish storm, you've done something wrong on your thumbnail. Tornado is definitely worse. You can see a hurricane coming. That's true. That is true. That is a valid point to make. You have a lot less time to react to a tornado forming than you do a hurricane. Actually, that might be the defining point of scaredness. You might have just gotten it down good. Am I tripping or did Erin stall? No, I just paused the animation. I'm just kidding. I know what you're asking. I don't think it's stalled. Yeah, it's still moving. You just can't tell because it looks like, you know, the center is right there, but the actual center is larger than that. And so if you're just looking at where this little pinhole opening is, then you're not, you know, the center's a lot broader, but it's still moving. It's moving at like 10 miles per hour, which is relatively slow for a tropical system. Hurricane. Well, yeah, I mean, if the hurricane's actually going to impact the United States, you know, it's impossible to not that's where the clickbait comes in with this storm, is that people expand the cone away from the National Hurricane Center and then pull it into like South Carolina, or they pull it into Florida. And then, they completely lie to you, or they don't even make an argument for their thumbnail. They just say our typical forecast, but they lied to you to get you to click on the video. And so they expand the cone out all the way to here for no freaking reason. And then, you know, they go online and celebrate how they just got tons of views on a video and how their channel is growing exponentially. And it's because you've been releasing super misleading clickbaity thumbnails. Because if you actually tell the truth and put the legitimate cone on your thumbnail, no one actually clicks on it, because that, compared to somebody that says, oh my God, you're gonna die, extending the cone out here, if you're worried about your safety hood in Savannah or Charleston or Wilmington near Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, if you're worried about if you're gonna be able to survive this storm or not, you would click on a big red blob over your area rather than somebody that just reports on the actual cone of uncertainty. So that's like, there's nothing I could do about that. If the storm's a fish storm, it's a fish storm. If I'm just going to be honest, I have to be okay with getting less views, which I'm totally okay with. I just golf instead. Golfing, I will say, I have way better of a mindset during this hurricane season than I had last year, because I was just in my house most of the day when I wasn't doing anything, on social media, looking at everybody lying. And now, I just accept it. There's just so many BS liars out there, because that's what YouTube incentivizes, is for you to lie. That's how you get big views and big subscriber growth. So, but you guys know that. How's Chazzy? He's doing great. He's doing awesome. But yeah, when I go golfing, I have something else to focus on, and I don't have to, do the deep dive into all of that. And, I get to sit in nature without looking at my phone at all. My mental has been the best it's ever been. Touching grass is awesome. Yeah. No, it's real grass, help. It's real. No fake grass on the golf course that I play at. Assuming the days of the West corrections stop, they're going to stop. There's no pattern out there on the ensembles or models that say that this storm is going to hit land. You've had a couple small jogs to the west, but none of them have been big enough. Again, a lot of people that don't tell you, like, they'll zoom in on the map. This is what they do. They zoom in on the map and they'll be like, oh my gosh, look at this 50-mile shift to the west. But they never tell you how many miles it has to shift to the west for it to actually make a difference. You would need that shift to continue for like 700 miles for this to line up and then go into the South Carolinas. They never tell you that, because if they tell you, their whole video about big shift happening is going to be for no point, because it's not a big enough shift to make any difference. And that's, yeah, we've had some small shifts here and there, but that's common. We haven't seen anything like on our ensembles or anything like for instance, Irma had a lot of ensemble members that did take it into this area. Like it was like 30 to 40% of ensemble members took it into like near Florida, near Cuba. And, and then there was also a lot of ensemble members that did a curve out to sea. But Erin's never had that where we have more than one model ensemble member for like the past 4 days that's been bringing anything close to land. So, that's what people have been doing during this hurricane. We get one errant model out of 150 model runs saying, oh, there's going to be landfall. And then they're just like huge shift. And then they like move they just like, it's so over dramatized and stupid. I feel like I'm living in a parody world. And people fall for it. That's the saddest part. It's not gonna hit the US, Matt. I don't know who you watch that's mainstream, but it's not. If there are going to be fish, can we at least utilize the fresh tuna? You do have a point there. Maybe we should. Idiocracy was a documentary. When I saw that movie, I thought and said the same thing. Like it took a while. Like actually, no, when I first saw it, I was like, we were still in the time of life where like it wasn't very apparent, but like now it's super apparent. The idiots win because there's no one stopping them. You can say whatever lie you want and get away with it because it's going to boost you on the algorithm. Once you lied to about 1,000 to 2,000 people, it just goes exponential from there. So needs to be dissolving. I don't think it was really that strong in the beginning. I think there was something going on forecast fusion with some side lobe contamination, because again, that storm was behind an outflow boundary, and those do not produce tornadoes unless it's like just become outflow dominant and there's like an actual strong shear environment around the storm. Then you can sometimes get exceptions, but when you have a very weak steering currents around a storm and it's outflow dominant, it's done. And we get a lot of those during the summer, going into August, September. Really don't see severe weather season start to pick back up until we start to get some of those big intrusions of cold air coming back into the country. Can I replay its past history? The most that I can do, I think, is 100 frames, which I think goes back a decent amount, but not that much. It'd be nice if you could go all the way back. Maybe we can make a suggestion to weatherwise in where they prioritize, like if for each storm that develops, they could maybe have like a history tab where you can follow it all the way from Africa into the Atlantic, closer to the United States. Yeah, but this is as far as we got. Just like it starts off north of the Dominican Republic. Same sensible philosophy. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I'm like over it. I don't even look at it anymore. The only time I see it is when I'm scrolling on YouTube, and just because I naturally am interested in certain weather topics, I get recommended the BS too. So I'm there with you guys. I'm sorry you guys have to deal with that. But I'll tell you what, on this channel, we will never steer you the wrong way. Intentionally. I won't say I won't make a mistake. Communicating is hard. But I always try my best and think about it a lot before I make any type of graphic or say anything. Kind of uncertainty changes move with the frames as well. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah. That would be really cool. Hurricane season is the worst for hype and clickbait. Yeah, you know that, and in snow season. So yeah. Sounds like a load of shift. That's a great title, actually. How many videos have there been out that you guys have seen on YouTube that's been talking about shift, and then you see that big red blob get closer to the United States, and then you click on the video, and then they show you the cone of uncertainty, and you're like, hey. Easy to just scroll on by. Yeah, you'll get used to it. It sucks though, because like there's a lot of people out there that aren't like that weather knowledgeable, and they just fall into the trap. More than a wobble, and then it wobbled back. Yeah, I've been seeing those too. You know, the thing is, like, here's my rule of thumb. You know, what it takes to see a track shift. The ensemble, it's never like when you have every single model and ensemble all agreeing. We've never had an instance where the hurricane deviates too far from that. Usually when you see the biggest track shifts is when we are pretty far away, right? Or there's just, for some reason, a lot of uncertainty due to some sort of atmospheric factors. So, you know, like, for instance, if this still had a chance of hitting land, we would be seeing at least, you know, 4 or 5 ensemble members and a lot wider of a spread than we are seeing right now. But this kind of pattern that we are in is like a near certain pattern. Like, there is no way this storm is going to make it up to here, interact with the jet stream that is evident or is going to definitely be in this area by that time. There is no way for this to go to the north of that line right there. It's almost physically impossible. Or it is physically impossible because the winds aloft and that jet stream are very strong. So, you know, there are some storms where you got to be a little bit more careful about your wording. But for this one, it's literally every single ensemble member, every single model, not a single one brings it into the United States. So we are out of that realm of uncertainty. Yes, we've had a couple of wobbles here and there, but it's still generally still on track in accordance to some of our ensembles that came out even 4 days ago. So job isn't easy. Yeah, it's not. But it's okay. I don't care. We just doing it. We're doing it because we love keeping you guys, or I love keeping you guys in the know. I'm not doing it because, you know, I need to become, you know, the next big thing. I'm not in competition with anybody. I used to think that like when I first started the channel, but now I'm just like, you know, the bottom line is to just get the word out. And I don't want to stretch the truth, you know, to make sure, you know, just so that you guys click on my videos and give me more money. It's just stupid. But yeah, I mean, that's the latest update. We got tropical storm watches out over here. It does seem like tropical storm wind gusts are still going to be a possibility up there. Some storm surge is going to be possible up there. And again, it's probably going to start to ramp up as we get into the 21st or at around Friday going into Thursday is when the impacts are going to be greatest. Wednesday going into Thursday, the impacts are going to be the greatest for mainly North Carolina, all the way up into potentially Virginia Beach there. If the models indicate that this thing is going to be a little bit bigger, then we might see some of those warnings or watches expand. And if they do, we'll make sure you guys know. I'll probably, since this storm is getting closer to the United States, we'll probably release more updates because it seems more evident to me now than ever that there is just a crap ton of misinformation. Yeah, also riptides, but I mean, you shouldn't be near the beach anyways because of the storm surge and the waves. So if you're out there when all that's happening and the riptides and you get hurt or even worse, you know, that's on you, period. The warning's out there, so don't do it. Even if you're a surfer, I get it. Massive waves, tubular. What do surfers say? They do this a lot and they like do this. Don't do it. It's not worth it. You can get better conditions in safer environments. Dude, there's always idiots. We watch them all the time on cameras. Even during that, like the potential tsunami in Hawaii, there were people all the way up until the estimated time of arrival just standing by the beach. So it's not even the threat of a tsunami can stop these folks. They're gonna go there just to see Mother Nature do Mother Nature stuff and deal with what consequences come as they do, I guess. All right, everybody, I'm gonna log off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And yeah, you know, if this thing makes like if it travels on the western portion of this cone of uncertainty, I might go live as a close approach. I'm still considering that, so we'll see. But yeah, you guys keep it easy, and I'll see y'all next time. I don't think there's anybody alive that we can raid, but yeah, take it easy. Peace.